Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your boy, The Sean Davey Way Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in and tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you another surviving TikTok, and this time, the story is on Cleri. Cleri recently went viral for losing custody of the majority of her children. She has three, a daughter and two sons, but from two different fathers, two sons from one father, and had a daughter with another man. Cleri started to make a name for herself on TikTok, talking about her life, her job, her career that she's trying to get into, and also mommy vlogging with self-affirmations and just affirmations in general. Being a mommy vlogger, you would think that you would keep custody of your kids and you would do everything that you needed to do to make sure that you had them not just for vlogging purposes, just because you're simply a parent. So when her viral video went around of her speaking of losing custody of her children and not wanting them back, it made me think there's more to this story. Instead of just jumping down her throat and judging her, I decided to take a walk down memory lane to figure out who Cleri is and where this energy comes from. So sit back and relax and go down this journey with me. Let's get into surviving TikTok, Cleri.
Single mom, I've never felt some type of way about other people's preferences. Like, you know how people be like, oh my gosh, my preference is not a single mom. I'd be completely fine with that because my preference is me. I be looking for myself and other people. Like, the more qualities of me that you have as a man, the more attracted I am to you. I literally want to experience my own love. So, like, for me to not be somebody else's preference, don't do nothing to me because I am my own preference. Like, I legit prefer me so much that if I cannot have me and another person, I will willingly die with myself and be happy. So, yeah, this single mom don't give a fuck.
We're never going to have it together, and it's nothing against you. Nobody has it all together, which is why you have to make sure you celebrate your wins, because there is no reality where everything's going to be perfect at the same time. Some days the house is going to be a mess, but the children are going to be happy and they're going to feel love, and you have to learn to celebrate those moments because they are the ones that matter. As a single mom, you are never going to your resilience. It's the fact that you can go through hell with a smile, and that you walk as if you don't have 100 daggers on your back. It's the fact that when they stab you, you bleed gold instead of blood, because deep inside you are worthy. It's the fact that they expected you to crumble, but you soared, you continued, and you did not let anything take away your shine. It is sometimes your resilience that makes you a target. Not because you are outdoing them, but because you can withstand and go through what they can't.
There were a few examples of Cleri being a mom, a single mom of three, and showing her vlogging and what she does as a daily routine to support her children, that she is doing all by herself with no support system, just her. So, her being a single mom, it does give the impression that she doesn't want to be a single mom. And let's just be honest. Most people that are going into having children do not want to do it alone. A lot of times they are forced to, whether you're a single mother or whether you're a single father. When I first started watching Cleri, I thought that she was doing these vlogs to show other mothers that may be doing this alone, and fathers, that you can, and showing them ways of doing so and staying positive throughout the parenting process. But the more I watched, it seemed as if she is kind of bitter about being a single mother, that she doesn't enjoy it at all. Not that it is necessarily something to enjoy, but most people do find the positive in being a single parent. Rather, it's just the luxury of having your kids every day, knowing that they're okay, knowing that the best care is being taken that you can provide, instead of having to worry about somebody else doing it or them going into the system or something like that.
Single moms is the fact that a lot of single moms suffer some sort of trauma. It may have been that the trauma was there prior to them meeting the person they had children with, or the trauma was created within the relationship. But nonetheless,
almost all single moms have some sort of trauma that they're dealing with. And I believe that as a result of that trauma, that most single moms, if not all, have a high tolerance for inappropriate behavior, because the standard that was created for them at some point was extremely trash. They tend to not realize that certain things are inappropriate at the time that they are inappropriate, because they have nothing to compare it to that is actually appropriate. And what I find so disheartening is the fact that we as humans lack so much dignity and compassion that nobody think about the context in which somebody become a single mom, which is why you will have everybody coming out the mouth saying the most ridiculous things to get views and to go virals about single mom, not thinking about the impact of the actual words. Because most of the stuff that people say, they don't necessarily say it because they practice it, they don't necessarily say it because it's true. They say the most ridiculous things so that they can capture your attention and they can get views. And people do not think about the fact that you are legit throwing salt on a wound of a woman that is literally raising little people. Like, it is so disheartening, because I can only imagine the type of pain that a lot of single moms have to deal with. Like, me being a single mom, certain things don't bother me as much, or bother me at all, just because I fortified myself into being iron armor, right? And it doesn't mean that I don't feel anything. It doesn't mean that I'm numb. It's just like, personally, I don't allow people to determine how I'm going to feel about something, and I don't give people the power to hurt me. But there's a lot of people that are not like me. There's a lot of people that have not had the fortunate circumstance to heal the things that I've healed. So those people that have not done those work, they're constantly being bombarded with messages of them not being good enough, of them not being this, of them not being that, when a lot of the times they didn't even have a hand in the wound that they were given. Like, they didn't have a hand in choosing the parents that they had, and based on that parent could have led to the man that they ended up getting with. Or if it wasn't that, a lot of men are liars. Not even just men, people are liars, period. And you'd be shocked at how deep and far a person will lie just to get access to you, just to be in your life. And to have someone constantly feel ashamed, feel less than, because they believe in the goodness of someone and they were duped, is crazy to me, yo. Like, it's crazy to me.
I do agree with a lot that Cleri said when it comes to single mothers going through trauma and not having appropriate examples of relationships to be able to revert to when you're having some of the same struggles yourself throughout your own relationship. I do think that there is a different tolerance of inappropriate behavior that people do stick up with, like toxic baby mothers or toxic baby fathers and whatnot. And since they saw like their mother or father having toxic situations, then that's what they go to. That's what the body naturally goes to. The subconscious naturally goes to what you know. You can't do something that you don't know how to do. So if you've never seen a functioning marriage, a real marriage, then how can you be in one? If you didn't have a father, how can you be a father as a man? If you didn't have a mother, how can you be a mother as a woman? Again, we're going to revert back to what we know. And right now, we are living in a generation, and a generation has been raised by a lot of those people that have been through traumatic things. And that's why a lot of men are walking out of their children's lives, and a lot of women are walking out of their children's lives because they did not have a proper example in how to be a parent. So you look up and you're pregnant. What do? You're going to just do what you know naturally. So I agree. But Cleri does come off as a know-it-all. Instead of trying to list examples in ways that she has learned and even done some things herself that she wasn't necessarily proud of, she makes it seem as a single mother, this is how you do it, when there is no playbook or manual to being a parent, especially one singularly. In the comments, there are a lot of people that come at Cleri as if she is a know-it-all and kind of has her nose in the air, does come off a little bit judgmental, but some people's personalities are just like that. So that's kind of how I felt with Cleri when I first started watching her and watching these type of videos of her, is that, yeah, it could come off a little bit I know everything-ish, but I don't really feel that that is the image or narrative that she's trying to run with. I think that she is just doing the best that she can to try to teach people not to become like her or how she was. So let's keep going.
Next week, I will no longer have custody of my boys. So I will go from being a single mom of 3 to a single mom of 1. And literally 7 days. It's like the craziest thing to even think about. Like, I don't even think my brain understands what's going on. Because I don't feel like I'm having like the proper reaction. Like, I feel like my nervous system is shot, like to the point where it's like certain things that's supposed to get a certain reaction out of me really don't anymore, because I'm no longer shocked. I just kind of take things as it go. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but honestly, that's literally where I'm at.
In the background, while Cleri is doing her videos, she is going through a battle with her children's father, her 2 sons' dad. And he wants custody of his children. The reason he wants custody is because she originally stayed in Florida while having her sons, and I believe her daughter as well, and then ended up moving to New Jersey. She left the state without the father's permission or letting the father know fully what her plans were. So then he decided to take her to court and file for custody for his 2 sons. And he ended up, I'm not going to say winning, because the energy that I get from Cleri, she kind of just gave up. So with her stating in this first video of the 7 days until her children are taken away, until custody is removed, I think she is a little bit in shock. And I don't think she's in shock of losing custody. I think she's in shock because she agreed to give her children away and give the custody to the father, and the children no longer be with her full time. Let's keep going.
Custody of my children because I refuse to allow my love to be weaponized. Around July of 2024, I decided to relocate my children from Florida to New Jersey so I could have some family support. I was a single mom of 3 with no assistance of any kind, no child support, no physical support. I didn't really have any friends. I didn't really have any family members. It was literally me by myself doing every single thing. When my mother offered to give me some assistance by having me move up here, I was like, okay, good, I'll do that. But at the time, I was going through a court case from 2023 with my ex where he was trying to get custody of the children. The reason why he was trying to get custody of my boys was because there were some things that was happening when they were with him that I felt like was neglectful and rendered abandonment, that I decided that the way that we were doing things needed to be restructured. But instead of having a conversation with me amicably, he decided to take
my love is being weaponized. Here's what I mean. For some context, I met my ex when I was 19. It was a summer after my second year of college, and I went to this gas station. I rode a bike because I didn't even have my driver's license at the time. And I saw this man on a motorcycle. He said something to me. I said something back because I have a smart mouth. And that led to a conversation and us exchanging numbers. I didn't even know where that was going to go. But throughout the summer, we met up another time. And I found out that he was 31. For some reason, that didn't necessarily drove me to the hills. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, he's 31, because at the time I'm in college and I wasn't really interested in the people that were my age, just because I felt like everybody was more so immature. And looking back at it, it's not really that it was that. It was more so I had a lot of trauma and I had a lot going on that I couldn't really act my age. So because of that, people that were my age and that was acting my age just seemed so off, because I didn't have the luxuries that a lot of my peers had. A lot of my peers were able to go home during the summer, because they were in college during the summer. When we take a break, they go home. I couldn't go home. I was a homeless college student. So of course, coming across someone that is in their 30s didn't seem like, oh my gosh. It was more so like, oh, maybe this person will be able to provide me with some stability or something like that. I don't know. I was looking to be safe in a way. But anyways, that's where the relationship started. And it was my first ever relationship. I didn't really know much about anything. Relationship.
I absolutely disagree with Cleri when she says that her love is being weaponized. No, it isn't. You left the state without telling the father that you were leaving. And even if you did tell him that you were leaving, there are certain protocols that you are supposed to go through. Whether he's taking care of his kids fully or not, he still has rights to his kids. So why put your children through that when you could have did things the right way? If you had no support system there and you said you were moving to New Jersey because you had a support system, then why not amicably work that out? You did not. So to try and weaponize the fact that you were 19 years old and that he was 31, where is the blame that he's taking? Again, I do agree that at 19, a 31-year-old probably shouldn't have been engaging you, but he did. And you were an adult and you consented. So whatever happened after that is y'all fault, not his. He did not take advantage of you. You two were in a relationship. That relationship grew into you having children, etc. So where is the blame that he needs to take? I don't understand that. I just feel like she shouldn't turn this into somebody preying on her when she stated out of her own mouth that people her age she wasn't interested in. So you knew that this guy was 12 years older than you before anything happened. He did not lie to you and you found out after the pregnancy or after you fell in love that he was 12 years older than you and why not? No, you wanted him because he was older. So if anything, you engaged him, not the other way around. So take accountability for that. Take accountability that you were young, naive, and had been through some stuff. And the men your age, that 19 and 20-year-olds, did not have your attention because you felt that they were immature, that they didn't have anything going on. You also stated that you wanted to be with him due to stability because you had nowhere to go for the summer. You had to stay at college while everybody else went home. So you're listing multiple reasons to where you were using this man, and then it didn't turn out in your favor. So then the relationship dissolved. That is it. That is all. Please, Cleri, stop trying to make this something other than what it is. A 19-year-old that was wet in the ass, that wanted an older man to take care of her. That is what you explained. You just softened the blow to try to victimize yourself, and you're not a victim. That's it. That's all. Moving right along.
I love my children. Here's the reason why I'm not fighting any of this. First, I play chess and game recognized game. I am very well aware that the reason why custody is being taken from me and all of this is happening is because of retaliation for the fact that I could not get trapped with children. Second, I never wanted to put my children through the court system because if that's what I wanted, I would have filed for child support. But because I never wanted my children to be in that type of system, I never wanted anybody to be in my children's business, I decided to put on my big girl panties on and take care of my business. However, all of this is happening because I love my children. This is what I mean when I say my love is being weaponized. Because at the end of the day, if you knew that it would not hurt me to take the children, you would not want them. The only reason why you want them is because you want to see me hurt. And it's okay.
Honestly, it's not my ego that is hurt, it's my heart. It's a thought that their needs may not be met with the adequate details and precision that I've given them. It's wondering who is going to give them a hug at night when they have a nightmare. It's trying to figure out how to make it so that this is not so traumatizing to my 2-year-old that has always known her brothers to be in the household with her. It's the fact that my 8-year-old lays on me every single day now because he keep counting down the days till he's not with me anymore. So it's not my ego because I don't need to be validated as a mother. I know who I am. But with my role as a mother come an incredible empathy and compassion that brings tears to my eyes and blood to my soul because they won't be with me.
I really like Cleri. I think that she is beautiful, but I think that she is also delusional. How are you being trapped with children when you can say yes or no to being intimate with someone, especially sexually? You were choosing to engage this person sexually. You were choosing not to take the proper precautions so that you didn't have children, birth control, etc. There's no one trying to trap you. How is it retaliation if you leave a state where you had the children where the state is the ones who determine if the children can leave or not, due to you getting permission from a judge to exit the state with your children so that you didn't have to worry about any retaliation, as you call it. How is a father wanting to see his children retaliation? Again, it sounds very delusional. I don't think that he is retaliating. I think that he wants to see his children. So if my children's mother just leave the state with my kids right now and I file for custody, am I doing that because I am trying to get back at her? Or am I doing that because I simply just want to see my kids, and with them being out of state, my job being here, everything being where we made the children, I can't just pick up everything and just run because I don't have a support system in New Jersey, which would be her kid's father. She has a support system there. Her family and whatnot all live there. Well, mother, at least. But he doesn't have anyone in New Jersey at all. So how is it fair that she decides one day to just get up and take the children and just go? Now, if he was a better support system for her, I think that maybe things will be a little different, but I don't think that it would have been that she would have stayed in Florida, because it seems as if she resents this man and that she doesn't want anything to do with him. She doesn't want to be near him or anything like that. So I feel like she would have found a reason to leave either way it went. Like, he could have been the greatest father ever when it came to the children, but if he wasn't treating her properly, or if the relationship dynamic that she wanted or what she needed to feel that this is a healthy situation, if those needs weren't being met, then I think that she was going to leave either way it goes. So why, again, keep trying to victimize yourself when you're not a victim? You took the children without his permission when you could have worked something out. You chose not to. You're also stating that you're choosing to do nothing about this man taking your children from you when there are things that you could do. There are ways of halting the situation. When Cleri says that she didn't want her children to be in the system or be in court records, well, it's too late for that. He filed for custody. So they're in the system, whether you like it or not. You choosing not to fight is your decision, not you being a victim, not you can't fight, not you don't have the resources or anything like that. As educated as you are, Cleri, you could get your children back on your own. I went to court and got custody of my children by myself. I did not have an attorney or anything like that. And I got joint custody because I am intelligent and I did my research prior to going. You could have done the same thing. You chose not to. Stand on that. Let's keep going.
So a lot of you are getting it wrong. Here's the reason why I'm losing custody. It's not because I mistreated my children or anything like that, because I'm a bomb behind parent and I'm very devoted as a mom. It's because I left the state. There was already a child support case, not even child support, custody case going on because their father decided to take me to court so that he could force me to have 1 week here, 1 week there, because that's what we were doing. I lived 3 hours away. He was getting them for 1 week and I was getting them for 1 week. However, I never really agreed with that just because I felt like it didn't give them a sense of home. Like, they couldn't even grow any roots because 1 week they were in Orlando, another week they were in Fort Lauderdale. And then something happened while they were in his care that was just unacceptable. And I was like, oh, nah, we're not doing this anymore. And he did not like that and he took me to court.
Why did this man just send me a message about child support? Why did the same man that have not contributed a cent to his children's well-being for the last 10 years, because my oldest is 10, just sent me a message stating verbatim, once the children get here, I am expecting a child support payment shortly after. I'm not in shock, but I'm in something. I don't know what I'm in, because what? I literally have had to do everything by myself. To the point where I tried to relocate to get assistance because this man wasn't doing anything. And this man just hit me up and said that he is expecting a child support payment when he's never contributed a cent to his children.
Again, Cleri is talking about trauma as if her trauma matters more than her children's. If You are putting your kids through this. It is traumatic. Your baby girl seeing her brothers every day, loving on her, protecting her, and then them just gone is traumatic. She's going to ask about them and whatnot. And just because she's little doesn't mean that this won't affect her for a long time. And it's the same thing with your sons. If they're latching to you because they are in fear of losing you because they know that they're about to leave, how is that not traumatic? If your son does wake up from a nightmare and he's reaching out for you, calling for you, but when he comes into his conscience and realizes that you're not there, and he has to call for someone to come in the room and nurture him that he's not used to, or isn't nurturing him in the proper way, saying the things that he needs to hear, getting the proper reassurance, then how are you not traumatizing them? You are. You think that you're doing the right thing, and overall, you're having mixed emotions. You are going through a lot, and this is affecting you more than you're willing to show. You're trying to show strength when this isn't a time to be strong. It is a time to be vulnerable. It is good for your children to see you be vulnerable because then they know how much you love them. You're sitting here days, counting the days down to where the children are being removed from you as if you're showing strength in the situation when all they see is someone that probably doesn't necessarily care about them. I think that that's how they're thinking when they're sad and depressed and moping around and, again, counting the seconds until they're no longer with you. They need to see that you are hurting. They need to see that this is not an easy decision for you. And that's not what you're showing. That's not compassion, because that's what the children need. You speak of validation as if you're worried about the public validating you as a parent when you feel confident in your parenting is weird when children are the real validation. Children validate whether you are a good parent or not. The way of getting the best report card in how you're doing and raising your children is by simply sitting down and asking them yourself, okay? That is the validation. And how are you getting that if your children aren't even with you? Wow. Moving right along. Cleri explains to her audience and why she's losing custody of her children. She wanted to reassure everybody that it had nothing to do with her doing anything harmful to her children. It was just simply because she left the state. While this is going on, the next clip that I showed you is Cleri speaking of the child's father, whom didn't pay her child support or give her any financial assistance or just any assistance at all, requesting child support once the children come to where he is. And she's like, the audacity. Well, look at here. Just because you won't do something does not mean that the next person won't. So you may have been okay with him not paying child support because if you weren't, then you would have filed. You chose not to. So why does he not have to file for child support because you took care of the kids according to you? Not at all. I do not blame him. Do I think it's fair? Not necessarily, but it depends on how you look at it. If he feels that he needs financial assistance from the other party that helped him birth these children, then I don't see anything wrong with that. And it's no different than Cleri. If Cleri would have filed child support, there's nothing wrong with that. You need assistance in taking care of your children. But her not filing child support was her decision. And that helps him in the long run. I feel that it shouldn't even be an option as a single parent if the father is not in the children's lives, taking good care of them and helping you physically and financially, for you not to file child support. That is on you. I'm looking at you as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, not the man or woman. They're going to go away scot-free. But not only are they not worried about the kids or having to take care of them, up all night with them, get them back and forth to school, not only is that something that they don't have to do, but they also don't have to pay for them either. Like, whose fault is that besides the person that did not petition for child support? Like, that is on you. So again, I think why she is upset is because it's starting to sink in that she is about to lose her children, that her children are no longer about to be with her. And as hard as she tries to act with this situation that, oh, it's going to be okay, this isn't a big deal, they're just going to their father, it is a big deal because you don't know if they're going to be properly taken care of. You don't know that he's going to do a good job. If you already couldn't rely on him when you have the children, how can you rely on him with him taking care of the children alone. That should be the fear of making sure that your kids are okay. You know that you're going to make sure that they're good, but you're not confident in that when it comes to him. So now all of these scary feelings and scary emotions and the what ifs and all of that is starting to kick in. And I think that Cleri is starting to be affected by losing her kids, because I do think she loves her kids. I don't think that she doesn't love them. I just think that she loves them differently. You know, my parenting is going to be different from yours and vice versa. So I think it's kicking in way more than she thought it would. And it's affecting her on a different level. And I don't think she knows how to process how it's affecting her. So she keeps pinpointing the negatives in the situation instead of trying to think of the positive ones. Like, you know, these are boys. They need their father. They need to be around a man. I'm just hoping that he does everything in his power to make sure that they are good men themselves, that the values that I instilled in them, that he keeps those values going. I think that's what you should be focusing on instead of, oh, he wants child support. Okay, well, he is about to be raising the kids. You may not have deemed that necessary, but he does. And life isn't fair. So, of course, this situation isn't going to be either. But let's keep going.
It's weird. One second, I had all three of them, and then the next, it was just one. And I know I'm supposed to kind of like, because it does make life easier to go from doing every single thing by yourself for 3 children to having one. It's easier, right? My children are my people. You know, like, I have people I share blood with, but they're not family. I have people I have relationships with, and they wouldn't think twice about like stabbing me in the back. Like, my children are my people, you know? So to no longer have them the way that I used to have them, like, it stings. Because at the end of the day, all I want is I want them to be good. Like, I don't mind them being with their dad as long as I know they're gonna be good. But that's not something that I know. I don't know how they're going to be, because this wasn't something that was done with care and consideration for them. It was more so like an attempt to hurt me. They cried. And I tried not to cry because I didn't want them to see me sad. But you know, I'm not that much of a thug, you know? But
So I'm not an evil person at all. So shout out to Cleri. I know that that was hard. It was very painful to even watch her go through that. I do feel like we were watching her heart break. And this couldn't be an easy situation nor an easy decision. Like, could you imagine, you know, just your kids here and then they're gone? and them crying and not wanting to leave and trying to stay with you, trying to get back in the vehicle with you and whatnot. You're crying. That I'm sure that was a very, very hard day for Cleri. So I definitely want to send my prayers out to her and to her beautiful children. Nobody deserves anything like this. Again, very, very sad situation. My heart definitely goes out to her. I don't care how people feel about her. As a parent to another parent, regardless of how we parent our children, we all love them. And I do feel the love. I do think that Cleri loves her children. I don't think that she was doing this to get rid of them. I don't think she was doing this because she didn't want them. Again, the father petitioned for custody. It wasn't just her just like, here you go, take the kids. No, it wasn't like that at all. He did what he needed to do to get his children. She can't fight the court in that regard. She has to listen. Now, she can definitely try and remove the custody from him and get them back and things like that in the future if she wanted to. But again, this couldn't have been easy. So my heart goes out to her.
That is what I remind myself of when I start to feel like a victim of life circumstances. My situation may not be ideal, but it is not special. I am not the only person that have ever gone through this, and I won't be the only person that have ever gone through this. And if anybody else can go through this and make it out, and so can I. So even though everything seems to be crazy, upside down, out of this world right now, I know this is working for my best interest. I know this is all working out so that I can be the best version of myself possible. I gave up so much to have my children. I put all of my goals and aspirations on hold in order to be the mom that I wanted to be, in order to devote myself to my children. And now I'm taking this as a sign from the universe, a sign from God in support for me to continue to follow
because
my
I don't love them. I love them so much. I love them wholeheartedly. I love them beyond comprehension. But I don't want my children back. And I feel like I had to come over here because you guys are so sweet. And my DMs and my comments giving me reassurance that, oh, they're going to come back. They're going to, everything's going to work out and stuff like that. And I believe you. Like, everything is going to work out. However, I don't want them children back. And it's not because I don't want to take care of them or anything like that. I love taking care of them. I love raising them, but I don't want them back for another set of reasons. One, I don't have a support system. I have been raising these children with no support system. And when I say no support system, I'm not even joking. I don't have an emergency contact. When I take them to the doctor, I don't have an emergency contact. I don't have friends. I don't have family. I don't have, like, I take care of everything by myself. I don't have that. Okay, so that's one. Imagine me, one person, taking care of 3 children by myself with no support system, not even for an emergency contact. That's one. Second, I was manipulated into having my children. I was 9 months pregnant on my 21st birthday, and their dad was 33. Granted, I knew he was 32. I knew he was 12 years older than me when I met him. Or at least, like, in getting to know him, I knew he was 12 years older than me. But at 19 years old, I did not have the mental capacity and understanding to assess and realize that I was being manipulated into having children prior than I wanted to. So it was never my plan to have children at the age of 21. My plan was to finish college and go to law school. And by the time I got my bachelor's degree, my son was 6 months old. And I found myself, like, putting off law school because I didn't want anybody else to raise him. I was manipulated into having those children. Third, which kind of goes with the second one, is one of the ways that this man manipulated me into having these children was using the whole line that, oh my gosh, she's the only person with his last name, and if he dies, the last name's going to go with him. I don't know why that was enough, but then again, I was extremely naive at the time. I was coming from so much abuse, so much trauma. I didn't know up from down, sky to ground, like whatever. So he was able to use that. And with that being said, I feel like if you want to continue your legacy, if you want to prolong your legacy, then take care of the children. Because over the last however long, this man have not contributed an increment of energy, an increment of energy towards the well-being of the boys. Like, no financial support, no physical support, no nothing. No nothing. But he wanted those children to be able to prolong his legacy. Why would I continue the legacy of a deadbeat? The only, like, not, like, I don't even want to deal with this man. Because right now he is on my phone. He's playing on my phone. I don't even know why he's playing on my phone. Because, like, you have the children. You wanted the children. I took them to you. You have their birth certificate. You have their social. You have them physically. There is no reason why you should be playing on my phone, but you're playing on my phone. Because at the end of the day, it was never about you having the children. It was about you having access to me. It was about you being able to get in contact with me. And I don't have time for that. Because this man is abusive. He's not physically abusive because I beat his ass. I fight back. But he realized early on in the relationship that I had been through a lot, but I wasn't one of those people that went through a lot of stuff and became cold. I went through a lot of stuff and then grew in empathy. So because of that, my ability to empathize have been used as a weapon against me since the time that I met this man. Because one of the ways that he used it in the beginning was to use his mother's death as a way to connect. So I went as far as to even ask, like, because when I say I don't want to deal with this man anymore, like, I've been trying to erase any type of connection that we may have. Of course, I can't erase the children, but anything else I've been trying to erase. I set boundaries. I block him. He find ways to get on my stuff. I, at some point, thought about signing my rights over just so I never had to communicate with this man ever again. And I told the judge that. I told the judge that because I am not going to change who I am for anybody. I am not going to harden my heart because someone like this want to try to weaponize my empathy or want to try to weaponize the fact that I have compassion. So I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not going to harden. So I will just remove your access. So yeah, no, I don't want them children back. Like, I love my children. They will never need for anything. But the only way that I will go back to raising my children and in a way that makes sense to me is if one, I never have to interact with this man again. 2,
So as sorry as I felt for Cleri, I started to get angry. And I got angry when she stated that she didn't want her children back. I'm all for her stating that life is a little bit easier. You know, just having one kid is more manageable. But her stating that she doesn't want them back was like an axe to my heart. Because it's like, Cleri, why would you say that? There's no reason of stating it. Besides, you're trying to make it seem as if this man is running game on you when you said that you don't play checkers, you play chess. If anybody is playing games here, Cleri, it's you. You are trying to dial up a situation based off trauma, based off certain things you went through when you were younger, and based off being young when you met an older man having children, to make it seem as if he's trying to manipulate you back into a relationship or situationship with him, when it seems as if, to be honest, you are bitter that he is not with you. Because to say now you got the kids, you can have them, you wanted them, you got to be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it. Now my life is a little bit stress-free. I just have my daughter. It's much easier getting her back and forth, you know, and whatnot. It seems as if you're playing all of the games, because what would possess you as a parent that loves your children and didn't want to give them up in the first place to say that you're glad they're gone and that you don't want them back? Your son's hearing that is very painful. If my mother took me through this situation and she was on a vlog somewhere stating that she's glad that I'm gone and that she doesn't want me back, that my father can have me, I wouldn't only be disappointed. I would feel defeated. Like, I love you with every fiber in my body, and you are saying out of your mouth that you don't want me. Like, was I a problem? Did I make your life hard? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do those things. I just want to love you. You're my mom. And I also feel like Cleri is lying. She states that she had no support system. So with having no support system, I get that that's very hard, because it does take a village to raise children when you are even in a relationship. So being a single parent, that village is just 10 times more important. I say Cleri lied because, listen, at the beginning of the video, she stated that she moved to New Jersey. Why? Because her mother lived there. Her mother wanted to help her out. Her mother wanted to assist her. Her mother wanted to help give her a foundation so that she didn't feel like she was in this alone. She also stated that she didn't even have an emergency contact. Well, wouldn't that be your mother now if you moved to New Jersey so that she could help you? It gives you're playing games, that you're not telling the truth, because you didn't move to New Jersey because you had no foundation or family or friends. That's why you moved there. Now, all of a sudden, you moved to New Jersey with no foundation. So that's why you're glad that your children are coming back. I call bull. Again, this is very disappointing, Cleri, with you stating what you stated about those young boys. You're so worried about what the internet thinks of you when you should be worried about what your sons think of you. And for someone to portray themselves to be so intelligent and so smart and well-rounded and has a good head on their shoulders, that's not giving that doing and saying things like this. It is giving bad mom. It's not giving that you are a good mother. And I'm not judging you. I'm just stating because your sons have heard this. It went viral. So if I saw it, why wouldn't they have? You're their mom. You're not related to me. I don't know you. So you coming through my algorithm is just simply entertainment, but you coming through theirs, like on TikTok, something that they definitely have. I'm sure they know you have a channel on TikTok. I'm sure they watch you. So for you to say something like that is very disheartening, and it gives that you didn't put much thought to what was coming out of your mouth because you're so worried about being defensive instead of compassionate towards your own children.
Y'all talk about how bad of a mother I am because I said that I don't want my children back the way that things were. And what's funny is a lot of you guys don't even, and it goes to show, because as much as I want to explain and I want to give details, I also don't. Not necessarily because I feel like some of you would understand, but I feel like for the majority of the hate that I'm getting, or the majority of the negativity, like, y'all are committed to misunderstanding me. You are committed to the narrative that you already put in your mind from the first 5, 10, maybe a minute of my video. Because if you watch the video in its entirety, you would get a better understanding than the comments that you guys are putting on there. So as much as I want to explain, because at the end of the day, I know who I am. I'm not explaining because I need you guys to think that I'm a good mother. I'm not explaining because I want validation for this or that. I know who I am. I have lived this day in and day out for the last 10 years. I know what I do. I know what I don't do. I know how I treat my children. I know how I don't treat my children. I know how dedicated I am to motherhood and my children. And I still stand on my statement. Like, when I made my statement, I didn't make my statement like, oh my gosh, I don't want my children, let me go give them to somebody else. I was forced to give my children to their father. I was court ordered to give my children to their father. My children don't like conflict. My boys do not like conflict, to the point where they begged their father to stop with the whole court things that he was doing, to stop with sending cops to my house and regularly trying to do a well-being check, to stop, because this man called Department of Children's Services on me and accused me of abuse. Like, my children literally cry in situations of high conflict. And because of that, and because I've known that, and because I pay attention to that, I've always tried to make it so that things can be as amicable as possible, because I never wanted to put my children in a line of fire. If I know this makes you uncomfortable, because for example, my middle child, he has an ear sensitivity. He doesn't like loud noises. So the minute that he hears loud noises, such as yelling or something else, it could be something that he likes. He likes airplanes, for example. If there are airplanes and they're very, very loud, he shuts down. It's painful to his ears. He starts crying. So of course, if I were to have a disagreement with his father and I am yelling and I'm raising my voice, or he's yelling, he's raising his voice, that's going to cause him pain. My oldest just doesn't like conflict, period. It makes him feel extremely uncomfortable. It makes him feel unsafe. And because of that, I've always gone out of my way to reduce the amount of conflict that exists, while also simultaneously teaching him that conflict resolution is a necessity. Because at the end of the day, if you're being yourself and you're advocating for yourself and you're standing on your values and your morals, and the other person is doing the same, there's a high likelihood that it's not going to be in alignment. And if it's not in alignment, there's going to be friction. And as a result of that friction, there's going to be conflict that needs to be resolved. So I don't shield my children from conflict. I give it to them in increments and teach them how to actually handle it and how to stay grounded in situation of high conflict. I say all of that to say, I love in action. I don't love in just words. I know exactly what I said. When I said, I don't want them back. I have 20% custody. When I say I don't want them back, it's not like, okay, here you go your children, I'm going to throw them in the trash, I've rid myself of them. Oh, no. I literally had a psychotic break the day that I found out that I would have to return them back to Florida. And the reason why I was able to reel myself back and get into the mindset that I needed to get to, because the day that I found this out was the birthday of my oldest. So life continues. Was the fact that first, God is fair. And the minute that I grabbed that razor from the bathroom after the court hearing, my landlord knocked on my door offering me brand new furniture. And I took that as God reassuring me to trust, to have faith, because there is something bigger in the works. Their father may not necessarily be the best man ever, or at least not to my definition. However, they love him. They love their father. And I have never tried to steer them in a way so that they don't love their father. I've always been very honest with my children. I've always been forthcoming with information that they can actually digest. I don't want to overwhelm them. However, I have never gone out of my way to try to make them dislike their father, because that is still 50% of them. 50% of their makeup.
Cleri coming forward feeling like she doesn't need to defend herself is buffoonery. You do need to defend yourself because you know what you said was wrong. It doesn't matter that you tried to paint a pretty picture and be like, oh no, listen, before you judge me and saying that I don't want my kids back, listen to why. Because if I don't have these structures and foundations, then I can't have kids. Well, there's plenty of people, single parents especially, that have no foundation and are still rock star parents. Better parents than households that have the mother and father there. Okay, so there's no excuse. And what you are doing is damaging your own image when it comes to your kids. You're tainted to them. Who cares about what the public thinks when your children's opinion is way more dire? So her coming forward, trying to make it seem as if she doesn't have anything to defend while being defensive, again, is buffoonery. This is part one. I love you all. I'm still here for Cleri. I'm still willing to hear her out. In part two, we will dive deeper into this. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like, and sending my love, prayers, and thoughts out to all single parents. It's not an easy thing, but you can do it. God does not put anything on us that we cannot bear. So if you cannot bear the situation that you are in, you wouldn't be going through it. I love you all. See ya.